First bite of the #1 cheesesteak in South Jersey. That's what the sign says. We're gonna see if they really got a contender. Alright, what's up, y'all? Boy Yohn. We finally on this. Not finally, but we back on the steak wave at Cheesesteaks. We got a real crispy roll. I've been seeing this a lot around Philly, actually. It seems like a newer style that we got the darker roll. But I can't complain. I think they got a little oil on the roll. It looks like they put a little color on the inside of the roll, which is always great. Look at the cheese, oozy, gooing. Look at that crazy pull apart right there. That's a big, but don't. This is an gooey cheesesteak with a lot of cheese. They did a great job of making sure that it melted in the actual sandwich, which, like I showed you guys with the pull apart, look how the cheese is perfectly melted in there, and it still hasn't really solidified, so they did a good job of trapping the heat inside. And one of the things I will say, it's a little bland. I feel like most of the taste I'm getting is the Cooper Sharp as opposed to the fresh ribeye itself. Which, depending on what type of school you are, the old school is more of the traditional steak where you're getting a lot of the steak and less cheese. And the new style is cheesier but less of the steak taste. Depends on what type of school you are. Me, I think I'm happier somewhere in between. Today I wasn't really feeling like I wanted a cheesier steak. I feel like I wanted an old school traditional 2-3 slices of cheese max and a ton of steak. But they do have my favorite style of steak, which is the sliced. And this is in between the slab and the chopped. For y'all that don't know, we got 3 different styles of steak in Philly. The slab, the chop, and the slice. The slice is the hybrid. Basically the baby of the slab and the chop. Onions, nice, crispy, roll, well done. I'm loving it. I just wish I had a little bit more flavor coming from the steak as opposed to the cheese. I don't know, Wanda. What number would you give it? Emery, you're drooling, my boy. Drooling.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 for Wanda. Bob, how about you off the steak bite?
Off the little steak bite, man. I was feeling what you were saying about cheese is nice up in there, but it's heavy on the meat. I am hungry right now, so I'm on your same vibe with wanting more meat. Pause. Need that. Saying I'm gonna get at a good. I'll be more generous. I'm gonna give 7.5. I'm saying for the classicness.
All right, well, I'm going completely different than both of them, actually. They gave it a 7. I'm thinking 6 right now. I'm going to be honest with y'all. It has the ingredients, the potential to get up there. It's just that, like I said, there's no real flavor coming in from the steak for me. There's no flavor. All I'm tasting is Cooper Sharp, which is cool. If this was a cheese steak, bro. There was 2 cheeses in there, and then the steak. I'd be cool. But it's supposed to be 50% cheese, 50% steak. And I'm getting like a 75-25, maybe even an 80-20 for real. So I'm thinking it's on the lower side for me. Could be the best in New Jersey, but definitely not the best in Philly. This is not even top 10 in Philly, I'm going to be honest. I do appreciate them. They were super nice. I'm at the Bull of Tone. Would I drive from Philly for this specific cheesesteak? No. I think you can find better in Philly. But I mean, for a Jersey steak, I've never had any other Jersey steaks, but it's alright. It's alright. Let me try with a little ketchup on it. It looks better than it tastes, I think, honestly. like, it's got a lot of pizzazz, a lot of pop on the surface, and then when you take a bite, it just kind of fades. A 7-8? Bob do be generous with the scores, though. Bob don't be as harsh as I do.
I feel like my palate is a little wider too. When it comes up to like the stuff that I eat, like I'm a little more. I'm not as picky. I do think you're a little more picky than I am when it comes up to eating.
Sometimes that's actually the difference between a good steak and a great steak, or a okay steak and a good steak is just a few more grams of salt, which I actually didn't know until I started watching this video or listening to this podcast about cooking and about food. So, like I said, I think I'm gonna go 6. Maybe I'll throw it in the air fryer later, heat it up, see if it's any better. But right now, it's just it's okay. Could be better. Could be better, but it's definitely a social media steak. I ain't even gonna lie, it's a social media steak. If you saw this steak on the socials, you'd be like, that's gotta be a 10. Looks can be deceiving, folks. So stay woke. I'm out of here. This is Yohn at Cheesesteaks in South Jersey.